yes, it's the old git here, Mike Hall, back with you. This is another one of my videos. This will be slightly longer because I think this is going to be one of the most important videos that I've made. Now, as you all know, that AKA is the old git, that's me, and I've lived a long life. I'm 72 years old now, and I've seen governments come and I've seen governments go. But I've never seen so much corruption and so much just low life type of people who are being voted into Parliament. It goes so deep. And, you know, what I'm going to do is let you know who you voted for and who's running this country. Now, you know, we've had the video about the Fabian Society, who are in the background there, making policies, saying that, you know, destroy democracy, destroy your culture, send everything to ground roots and build it from the bottom up with their utopian socialist kind of Orwellian communist society where, you know, Big Brother is over you all the time. We've done that one, and you know about that one. And if you don't know about the Fabian Society, then you should have a look. But, you know, I'm going to look at some reports based on recent reports, actually, that the MPs breaking the electoral, whatever you call electoral, I have trouble with these words sometimes, code. Now, the Labour Party, it's corrupt, but how deep does it run? Now, I thought, well, I'll find a few politicians that have, you know, not done what they should be doing, broke the law, you know, not do what I do, but do what I say, that type of thing. And how it runs so deep. Dodgy behaviour, I mean, just how deep does it go? Well, there have been recent findings regarding breaches of MPs' code of conduct in ministerial codes by Labour members. There's many of it. There's many that have been sort of, I'm talking about sitting members, no, I'm not talking about past members, but some have passed now because they've been sacked. So I've researched Labour members, and so many have in some way not being truthful or honest. So I've selected just a few, like I said, high profile front benches, and highlight the corrupt Starmer-Stasi government. So let's first of all, let's start with number one, which is of course here, Free Gear Tier. That's your man, that's him. What about him? Well, Sir Keir Starmer in 2022, the Parliament Standards Commission found that Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer breached the MP's code of conduct 8 times due to late registration of interest, gifts and hospitality that refers to. These were deemed minor and inadvertent and caused by administrative errors in his office. Now, this is the basic excuse that many of them give for their misdemeanours. But it's not right. These people are supposed to be of the highest calibre. They're not supposed to break the rules, because if they break the rules, they say to the country, well, break the rules, it's okay, we do it, you can do the same. No, you can't. You know, let's sort of move on.
Keir Starmer arrived at Downing Street promising change, but now he's being described as the king of the freebies. There have been free clothes, free tickets and free football. Since 2019, Starmer has received gifts worth a total of £107,145, the biggest amount of any MP. Almost 40,000 came from a single donor, Lord Wahid Ali, 16,200 for work clothing and 3,485 for multiple pairs of glasses. And over £12,000 from the FA Premier League Limited, 4,000 of which paid for VIP Taylor Swift tickets at Wembley.
Well, there you go. So, I mean, look, £32,000 for clothing. in clothing donations for a Labour Lord from Lord Ali. Who's Lord Ali? What's he doing, and what does he want to give so much of his money? And while in opposition, alongside £2,400 on glasses, and the use of an £18 million penthouse. And these donations initially registered as funding for his office were later categorised as gifts. So he plays the system just like anybody else does. Now, he's, as I say, not a very much, 107,000 donations to others as well. Lord Ali also provided donations to 7 other cabinet ministers, including for clothing for Angela Rayner. So we start off straight away with the man that runs our country, the man who's supposed to be above scrutiny, the man who is the head of the public prosecutions. He should be squeaky clean, but he isn't. That just goes to show £107,145 of gifts received, which he didn't declare, and only when he got found out, he declared. Okay? So many misdemeanors he's carried out, and he seems to get away with it. Now, I've just said that Angela Rayner was one of the people. Let's move on to Angela Rayner. What has she done? Or what has she been doing? I mean, I can't... there's so much going on that it sort of twiddles your head around a bit, but I've just kind of concentrated on the main ones, the main leaders of your country, the people who are supposed to do right by you, especially these times where everybody's feeling the pinch. You know, they're taking more and more tax, they're giving it to more and more unworthy causes, migrants and such like. Angela Rayner resigned from her role as Deputy Prime Minister and Housing Secretary and Deputy Leader of the Labour Party on September the 5th, 2025, following the scandal involving unpaid stamp duty on her property. Now, I don't know.
First, Mr. Speaker, let me address the circumstances under which I left office. The last few weeks have been incredibly tough on my family, with my personal life so much in the public eye. All of us in public life know all too well the toll of the intense scrutiny we face places on our loved ones. But I've always believed in the highest standards of transparency and accountability. And it is what the public expects, and it is the price we pay for the privilege of service. That's why I referred myself to the independent advisor and gave him access to all of the information he needed. As I set out then, parents of a disabled child with a trust who divorce and seek different properties face a complex tax petition. If there is one good thing, Mr. Speaker, that can come out of this, I hope that other families in the situation may now be aware of that and avoid getting into the position that I am now in. I am, of course, corresponding with the HMRC, and they have my full cooperation. There is no excuse not to pay taxes owed, and I will do so. This was an honestly made mistake, but when you make a mistake, you take responsibility.
You take responsibility. Honestly made mistake. Look at me, I'm a martyr. I'm giving my, she's trying to paint herself in a wonderful light when she's corrupt, when she's not only done avoidance of tax on one property, she's done it on 2 properties, and as far as I'm aware, it's still not paid. I mean, while she was not officially sacked, her position became untenable after investigations by the Prime Minister's independent ethics advisor, Sir Lawrence Magnus. Sir Lawrence Magnus, bit iffy, okay. He concluded that she had breached the ministerial code, and the key reasons for her resignation: tax underpayment. Rayner admitted she had not paid enough stamp duty on her £800,000 flat in Hove, and she bought that in May 25. Now, she said in that little, I feel sorry for me, I'm here to serve my constituencies. This new house for 800,000 in Hove is many, many miles away from her constituents, isn't it? I mean, she's so blatant, hard-faced. She paid the standard rate of £30,000, but was actually liable for the second home rate of 70,000, which was a shortfall of 40,000. So, breach of ministerial code, but also a twist in the law. Oh, I haven't broken the law. Well, if I'd have done that, I think I would have been looked at as a fraudster, and she is a fraudster. She knowingly did it, and as far as I know, unless you can advise me something different, she still actually owes the tax. The abuse centred on whether the Hove flat was her second home. Rayner had previously sold a 25% share of her family home to a trust for her disabled son, but she was deemed to still hold financial interest in the second home. Her son was under 18, so she, as far as she's concerned, she's still liable for the tax and the bills at that place. Now, total hypocrisy, that's what it was. And I wonder if she remembers saying this.
Please. Mr. Speaker, this isn't about playing politics in this place. This is about playing by the rules. Yeah! And as we can see, it's one rule for everybody else and one rule for the Tory Conservatives. When they break the rules, Mr. Speaker, they just remake the rules. Yeah. And I know that Donald Trump is the Prime Minister's hero, but I say to the Prime Minister, Prime Minister, in all seriousness, he should learn the lessons that if you keep cheating the public, it catches up with you in the end. Yeah. Because while they're wallowing in sleaze, the rest of the country faces higher bills, rising costs and damaging tax rises. Yep.
Hard-faced, sleaze. She called the government, the previous government, sleaze bags. That's what she's called them. And look at what she's done. Things come back to bite you on the bum, Angela, and I think you've been bitten well and truly by a great big Doberman. Now, what was the impact on Starmer's government? Her departure triggered a significant cabinet reshuffle. Prime Minister Keir Starmer, David Lammy replaced... for Prime Minister Keir Starmer. I get it in front of myself. David Lammy replaced her as Deputy Prime Minister, while Steve Reid took over as Housing Secretary. But here's the sting. Today, Starmer's in trouble. Today is, what's the date today? It's the 6th of February 2026, and he's hanging on by his last loose tooth to his Prime Ministership. And guess what? Rayner is now plotting with others to topple Starmer and become the PM. How can you let people like this run your country? People who have no morals, no scruples, and tell you what you have to do, tell you what you can say and what you can't say, but you can't. They do as they like. So, all I can say, who's sleazy now? So, there we go. So, Steve Reid and two people replaced her. So, let's deal again with Steve Reid. Now, Steve Reid has scandal in his briefcase, okay? Steve Reid, a senior UK Labour politician and current Secretary of State for Housing and Communities Local Government as from February 2026, has faced several controversies and scandals ranging from undisclosed gifts to accusations of misleading Parliament. Now, let's see, Mr. Steve Reid, what have you been up to? Well, there you go. While serving as Environment Secretary in 2024, Reid faced heavy criticism for accepting a £1,786 hospitality ticket to Chelsea v Crystal Palace football match from Hutchison 3G UK Limited. Now, critics highlighted that the firm was linked to Northumbrian Water, a company that was responsible for regulating, which he was responsible for regulating, and which he had been fined, or they had been fined, millions for sewage spillages, and Reid claimed he was unaware of the link. He didn't know they had anything to do with it. Okay. But the misleading claims is on Scottish Water, for example, another one. In 2025, Reid was rebuked by the UK Statistics Watchdog for making misleading and unsubstantial claims that the English water quality was superior to Scotland. This led to a formal complaint by the SNP and a demand for an apology from the Scottish government. But what's worse in this day and age, is anti-Semitic goings on. Yes. Now, in July 2020, Reid was forced to apologise after calling a Jewish businessman, Richard Desmond, a puppet master. In a tweet he did delete the tweet and apologised, stating he was unaware of Desmond's heritage. But the thing is, you shouldn't be making anti-Semitic comments anyway. You're a politician. Your standards should be higher. So you're getting the picture now. These are just a few. Where's my hat gone? Oh, there. This is just a few of people who have broken, the law, broken the standards that are expected from people in the government. But the comments were widely condemned by figures like Andrew Percy and an age-old anti-Semitic trumpet. Yeah? Now, the data breaches also, he's also been involved in data breaches. And again, sleaze, yes, you can talk about sleaze if you want to, Angela, but what about data? In 2021, Reid was accused of a potential data breach for allegedly passing constituents' private contact details to one of his parliamentary aides, Louis Carceridis. I think that's how you say it, Louis Carceridis, to use for local council elections. Again, that goes against the parliamentary code. You shouldn't be passing constituents or anybody's data to anybody else, especially to forward the chances of getting votes. Reid was linked to Electoral Commission investigated into a think tank, Labour Together, which failed. So he was also sort of implicated in this think tank thing with Labour, which failed to declare over £700,000 in donations. The man, he's now taken up the roles, or one of the roles, of Angela Rayner. It gets worse. It does get worse. Most recently, in February 2026, Reid has been in the headlines for breaking diplomatic silence to urge Prince Andrew, as he's not now, to testify in the US regarding Jeffrey Epstein investigations, calling it a moral obligation. Now, you might agree with that, but he actually broke diplomatic silence, was urged that it shouldn't have been said it, but he did it anyway. So that's, of course, Steve Reid. So, hey, it's getting good, isn't it? It goes so deep, all the things that these people do, and all the things that they're running your country, and you're going to vote for it. I don't understand why people vote for somebody or a party like this. Because, my father voted Labour, so I was. My father, my grandfather, it doesn't matter. That was then, when the Labour Party stood for something, when the Labour Party was for the working man. It's not for the working man now, it's for them, themselves, and their other puppet masters, okay? their other ideology. Now let's move on anyway to David Lammy. Here he is, old Taxi Lammy. There's the man, isn't he? David Lammy, in 2022, then Shadow Foreign Secretary, David Lammy was found to have breached the code of by registering 16 interests outside the 28-day deadline. I mean, come on, 16, which was also described as, what's that word? Oh, inadvertent. Yes, inadvertent. Yes, David, of course you forgot. But then again, you're not that bright anyway, which we'll come to in a minute too. In April 2025, the UK politician David Lammy and his wife were involved in a dispute with a French taxi driver. 370-mile trip from Italy to the French Alps. I mean, why are you taking a taxi anyway? The driver allegedly drove off with their luggage following a disagreement over the £590 surcharge, though the fare was reportedly paid. Now, key details of that incident. Let's have a look first of all.
À un certain moment, quand je lui ai demandé de régler la note, de la différence de 700 € qu'il ne m'a pas réglé, il frappait mon siège. Et au moment qu'il va pour ouvrir la porte et pour sortir, il m'a dit French. Il m'a dit French, il disait. Et ça, je sais très bien que c'est un gros mot. Et il a fait le tour pour venir vers moi. J'ai eu peur. J'ai pris la fuite pour me protéger, pour aller au commissariat le plus proche, pour me présenter sur mon identité, pour expliquer les faits. Je l'ai dit aux autorités françaises qu'on s'est fait insulter. Un rapport a été notifié dans un rapport de police et de gendarmerie au procureur de la République. On est venu me voir 2 fois.
Anyway, you get the gist of it. Look at the back of the car. It's disgusting. Disgusting. Things all over the floor, over the seats. Now, the incident. After a state visit to Italy, Lammy and his wife took a private taxi to the ski resort, but the driver, his name is Nassim Mimon, demanded more money. The dispute, the driver claimed that Lammy was aggressive and refused to pay, leading to a heated argument. The driver then left with his luggage. Okay. He didn't leave because he wanted to steal his luggage. He left because Lammy was very aggressive. Lammy, well, F the French, and he was afraid. And he then went to the police station himself and said this is what he didn't intend to steal the luggage, he just was afraid. And the legal outcome was the French taxi driver was initially charged with theft, but was acquitted in November 25 due to the lack of evidence of intent to permanently keep the goods, which he didn't want to keep. That's obvious. Allegations, the driver claimed the car was left in a filthy state and Lammy behaved aggressively, while Lammy's team vehemently denied the allegations and maintaining that the fare was fully paid. I'm not saying that he didn't pay the fare, probably the fare, but he was arguing with him. You know, the guy was just drove him so many miles, however many miles it is, and you know, he asked for extra money because he was carrying extra weight, and I think that's what the reason it was why he asked for the extra money, and because he had to clean his car fully after they'd been in the back seat throwing food all over the place. Well, you can see that for yourself. So that's David Lammy. As I say, just for fun, I thought Lammy's IQ is quite low, and this also, he could also end up the Prime Minister at some stage. He's now Deputy Prime Minister and hasn't got a clue. And just to prove that he's not that bright, has everybody seen him on Mastermind? No? Have a look.
Great. 8 points you have with Muhammad Ali. Let's see how you do with general knowledge. 2 minutes starting now. What was the married name of the scientists Marie and Pierre who won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1903 for their research into radiation?
Antoinette.
Curie. Cockpit country is a rugged, inaccessible area on which Caribbean island?
Pass.
Which former Conservative leader in a magazine article in August 2000 claimed that while working as a deliveryman's assistant, he downed around 14 pints of beer a day?
William Hague.
Yes, which fortress was built in the 1370s to defend one of the gates of Paris and was later used as a state prison by Cardinal Richelieu?
Versailles.
The Bastille. In February 2008, which Tottenham Hotspur player scored the first goal of Fabio Capello's reign as England football manager?
Aaron Lennon.
Jermaine Ginnas. James Gandolfini played a mafia boss called Tony in which American television series?
Godfather.
The Sopranos. What name is used for the highest gallery of seats in a theatre?
Pass.
Which organisation was founded in 1909 as the home section of the Secret Service Bureau to counteract the threat of German spies?
MI5.
Yes. Which American military award is given to those who are wounded in action and bears the inscription for military merit on the reverse?
Pass.
Chris Martin is the lead singer with which award-winning British band?
Coldplay.
Yes. Which variety of blue English cheese traditionally accompanies port?
Leicester.
Stilton. What term for a top-floor luxury flat originally meant a shed or outhouse?
Penthouse.
Yes. In 2006, Sandy Toksvig replaced Simon Hoggett as the presenter of which topical Radio 4 quiz show?
Pass.
Which American chat show host has business ventures including Harpo Productions and Oxygen Media, which operates a 24-hour cable television network for women?
Oprah Winfrey.
Yes. Who acceded to the English throne at the age of 9 on the death of his father Henry VIII in 1547?
Henry VII.
Edward VI. In chemistry, what French word is used for a tube for transferring measured amounts of liquids?
Pass.
Which country's so-called Rose Revolution of 2003 led to the resignation of its president, Edward Shevardnadze?
Yugoslavia.
No, it was Georgia. You had 5 passes. A pipette is what you use for transferring measured bits of liquid. The news quiz, Sandy Toksvig now does. The Purple Heart is the American military award. If you're in the highest gallery in the theatre, it's the gods that you're in. And Jamaica is the Caribbean island, cockpit country. 5 passes, David Lammy, 13 points.
Oh, God. So super intelligent. I mean, do you know, some of those questions, I think they're aimed at him to be easy. But even though they were aimed at being easy, a politician should know at least some of the things. I mean, the highest position in the theatre, the gods. Everybody knows it's called the gods. Okay? I mean, but he is not educated well enough to be in any role. It'd be okay for I don't know, a manager in Aldi's. No, I'm not saying anything bad about Aldi managers, but that's about his limit, okay? Not to run a country. But there you go, that's David Lammy. And it goes even deeper and deeper and deeper, all this sleaze and all these things that they're doing to just destroy the country. And they are the lowest of the low. These people should not be in government. I do think, and I'm not sure of my fact here, but I do believe that every Labour government since 1970 or whatever, going way back sometimes, they've always left the country in a state of bankruptcy, and this one's the worst one ever yet. So let's move on to the next star of the people who are so good with the halos round their head who run this country. Politicians who have broken the ministerial code and or the law and in between. So let's move on. Let's talk about, Mike Amesbury, yes, sacked for punching a man. That's him. Yes, sacked for punching a man. What? I mean, when? That's the man. Him there. Looks like a bit of a character. Bit of a hard nut, eh? been out. Suspended Labour MP Mike Amesbury has been jailed for 10 weeks after he admitted punching a man to the ground in his Cheshire constituency. Amesbury, 55, who represents Runcorn and Helsby, as an independent MP, pleaded guilty to assaulting a 45-year-old Paul Fallows after the video footage emerged showing the confrontation. Oh yes, we've got evidence.
Stop it! Stop it!
Anyway, that's enough of that. He had the whip removed after the incident in Frodsham, Cheshire, which happened in the early hours of the 26th of October. Sitting at Chester Magistrates Court, Deputy Chief Magistrate Tan Ikram said a pre-sentence report showed Amesbury's actions were a result of anger and a loss of emotional control. These are the people that run your country. Aren't you very proud? We are the laughing stock of the world. Everybody laughs. Now, finally, I'm going to do one, but I've got others. I've got so many. I think, come on, people are going to get bored, but there's so many who are involved in all sorts of sleaze, and these people are sitting parliamentarians. And you, anybody that votes for Labour now, wants their head knocked together, because basically Labour is a spent force and full of miscreants and people who just don't belong in politics. They don't belong in any position of control because they haven't got a clue. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, I'm just going to put this picture up here. There you go. Peter Mandelson, aka the Prince of Darkness. Now, I'm not going to show you videos of him peeing up walls and in his underpants, so this will do for now. Peter Mandelson's career is famously defined by a cycle of high-level success and abrupt scandal-driven resignations. Often nicknamed the Prince of Darkness for his mastery of political spin, his career faced 3 major collapses. Now, you would think that Starmer would have cottoned on to this man not being the right sort. His first resignation was in 1998. He resigned as Secretary of State for Trade and Industry under Tony Blair after it was revealed he had taken a secret undeclared £373,000 home loan from a colleague, Geoffrey Robinson, whose business was under investigation by Mandelson's own department. Aye, aye, there's your backhander. Don't say anything bad about my company. Already, that's enough. One strike, you're out. Okay, but no. Second resignation was 2001. After returning to the cabinet as Northern Ireland Secretary, he was forced out again over allegations that he had improperly used his influence to help a billionaire, Srichand Hinduja, to obtain British citizenship. He says that he got it dismissed recently because obviously he wanted to get in between 2025 and 2026. So, a bit of a grey area, but he did do it. There's no doubt about it. And he was dismissed for it. And the third one, Prime Minister Keir Starmer, 2025. Prime Minister Keir Starmer fired Mandelson from the post as ambassador to the United States after leaked emails revealed the depth of his continued friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. His resignation from the Labour Party was February 2026. Mandels resigned his membership in the party on February 1st, 2026, to avoid further embarrassment following new claims he received payments from Epstein. Well, he did. He did receive payments from Epstein. And he did live in his houses. And he was even staying in one of his apartments, I think, when Epstein was in prison. You'd think you would distance yourself. He borrowed money of Epstein to pay for his partner's. He wanted to be some kind of therapist, and he borrowed the money. You'd think he'd have his own money. But no, the man is a proper Svengali. And I tell you, will he come back? I doubt it. But knowing the Labour Party, he'll probably be the next Prime Minister. I don't know. Because it doesn't matter to them. They don't care. They have no morals. They have no scruples. Well, I think that gives you the picture. I would like to tell you that the next video is going to be about probably Zach Polanski and his policies for the country. Again, how can that calibre of person be vying and be head of a political party and vying for or to become a Prime Minister of the UK? It's sick. And Ed Davies' flying circus. Again, these people walk around with rose-coloured glasses. They don't know anything. The country is being lost. And I said there's many more who I could talk about. Joe White in January 2026, she broke the codes, conflict of interest, her husband giving evidence and not declaring that it was her husband did something that was going on. Oh, Lisa Nandy, she's been in breach herself regarding public appointment, which she described as unintentional. Of course, it's always unintentional. And there's many. I just don't want to go into them, you know, but they're there. And you can look at it. All you've got to do is go in and get a list of the sitting MPs of the Labour Party, and they've all been involved in. Just like about 2/3 of them are members of the Fabian Society, which are the puppet masters for the Labour Party, who make the policies. And they do. I still believe that. So there you go. So you shouldn't be voting for them. I'm not even going to say you should be voting for, but I know if I still lived in England, I knew who I would be voting for. But I'm sitting here, and you know, when I first came to Spain, and this is absolutely true, the respect for the English was way up there. The respect was so, oh, English, oh, you're wonderful, blah, 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 blah. Today, they think we're a joke. Although they're now facing the same sort of problem with their Prime Minister, El Presidente, Pedrito, Pedro Sanchez. He's allowing about 500,000 illegal people, just like the Labour Party. He's a socialist, just like them, a globalist socialist. And, you know, it's just for votes. They don't realise that they're not coming to integrate. They're coming to the country to take you over. So if Labour don't get you, the others will. Anyway, that's it. I'm saying to you people, I don't care how traditional your voting has been in the past. I'm saying basically, you've got to think now that times are different. And we are running into very deep, murky water. And it's time now to make a change. It's time to get rid of this two-party system. A lot of people are already there. Reform of gaining more members than, you know, from a very short start, with some very good people in that reform group. Of course, you know, people like Nigel Farage, Lee Anderson, Richard Tice, yeah, David Ball, and Sarah Poaching, and there's some more that have come out from the Conservative Party, and they're building policies that people want to happen. Policies on immigration, on the cost of living. They're doing it right. So I'm not a party political broadcast with them. I'm just saying they may be the ones that break this horrible cycle of boom and bust, boom and bust, boom and bust. Okay, that's enough from me. Don't forget, what you can do is you get in touch with me. There's my socials up there. Best Before TV is my TV station. What's on there right now is a film from 1946 called Clooney Brown. Mind you, there's only 3 minutes of that left, so what's on after, I don't know. But it's on 24 hours a day, free TV, all retro TV from right back to the 30s up to the 70s. Old TV series like Prisoner Cell Block H. Oh, there's all sorts of stuff going on there. And but if you want to comment, please do. You can comment at on X. I'm calling it X now. Best Before T. That's at X. Or send me an email, bestbeforetv@gmail.com. All right. And all I'm saying is, people, before you put that X in the box, think on, because things can get worse. I really think there should be a general election called right now, and this outgoing Prime Minister should see that there's no confidence in the government and call a general election. All right? He won't do it. Of course he won't. But until the next time, this is the old git. Mike Hall saying, stay safe, and I'll see you very, very soon. Well, go on then. For some reason, my music's not working. I could sing it out. No, I won't do that. It's so embarrassing when things don't go as they're supposed to do. You know? Why is that, I wonder?